All right, guys. Well, this failed. Obviously, this was the very highs, right on the very highs, and Bitcoin basically rejected at this point. At this point, it was, oh my God, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. But this rejected and we dropped back down. Now, what I want to talk about is how we go parabolic, right? So if you remember this video, it's nothing has changed. Not a single thing has changed. Now, we talked about that the fact that in BNB we had this this area here. If it's going to go parabolic, right? You have this little potential J hook right here, like we had here. Now maybe I need to zoom that out a little bit. But the first one fails. It comes back up and kind of fails, and then we drop back down. We drop back down into the blue 50 moving average. From that blue 50 moving average, right? And you can see, and I mentioned in the video, that we drop back down close to the previous lows, but we don't take them out. If you watch that video again, that's what I said. We drop back down close to the previous lows, but you don't take them out. It's a little bit deeper than you would like, though, to be fair. But anyway, it doesn't really change anything at this point. Now you can see what happened in this. You can see that we consolidated and then we bartered back up, and then that's how you go parabolic, and that's what creates the J hook. That's what creates the rounding motion. That creates the rounding motion. That creates the parabolic structure. Okay, price usually needs to round back up out of that, and then when it cleans and takes out these highs again, well, obviously that's when it can go parabolic, and that is the exact same as we talked about in this video. And if you remember me talking about in this video and in the video where I made here how we go parabolic, what needs to happen is the market needs this crash. It needs this to wipe out the longs, to cool off the market, to cool off the funding, to wipe out the longs so the whales can then reaccumulate, for example. This is a natural process, right? It's a natural process if we are going to go parabolic. There's nothing wrong with this. If we're going to go parabolic, and it's not a real rejection. Now, if we start taking out this low, well, then something's wrong. Something's different. Something is funny. And we need to be on guard for a larger potential correction. But as long as this previous low is intact, we still have the potential here to be forming a BART pattern back up that will form a J hook and a rounding pattern that can potentially then take out and go to these highs that everybody was wanting and hoped we could go to, just like what happened right here. So this drop and this cleaning out the longs and the cooling off funding is a natural process. But now it's the bulls' turn. The bulls need to prove themselves. Okay, it's all in the hands of the bulls now. The market has done its bit. This is a natural process. Now the bulls need to prove themselves. If there's enough buyers, well, then this will go into reaccumulation and we will come back up. If there's not enough buyers, then this will break down, and we may potentially have to start targeting $30,000 again. If this low breaks, the bull market might be over for now. Now, I do think we're going to go higher later at some point, but if this low breaks, we have to potentially be prepared that maybe we need to start thinking about $30,000 again. That might sound extreme, but I also have a longer video that I'm going to upload as well after this video to show you maybe why I think that. And I'm not saying I think that yet. It's a potential outcome. It's only a potential outcome yet, but I just want people to be aware of it. When I look at these 3-month structures, when I look at these 3-month charts, it still looks extremely bullish, and it looks like we could lift off. Okay. Now the other spectrum is, well, we've now had a huge 20x from the bear market, 21x bounce from the bear market, and this could keep going, right? This could just keep going. So, like, what I'm saying is, I didn't mean to say, I'm not sure what I said there, but this might actually be due for a red 3 inside up, right? It almost looks like it, it's so extended now that are we going to get a third yearly candle to the upside, or does it need to have some sort of cooling off period, for a year? I don't know, it's a yearly candle, but I know that might sound crazy, but like, does it need to have some sort of cooling off and just like a consolidation here? Does it need to have some consolidation to build this out to go higher again? Well, that's what the market might be just telling us. That's what it might be trying to tell us. If we start to break this low, that's creating a lower high, sorry, a lower low. I know we've created one here, you know, as well. But what we need now, the ideal situation here is for that previous low to hold, this to BART up, and to take out these highs and run for it. Very similar here to BNB. So at this point, no major damage done. It's exactly probably what should happen in the cooling off of the market before the next leg higher. The market has done probably exactly what it's supposed to do. So now the bulls just need to prove themselves. It is disappointing that, you know, that this didn't run from here, but that's all well and good. Now the market has cooled off. It has its chance now to prove itself. So we need to try and see if this low can hold. Now, as we've been talking about, you know, Bitcoin is bearish below this level, right? The 2-week level. Bitcoin is bearish below this 2-week stop hunt, right? So we need to have a bearish bias until proven otherwise. It's also a bearish monthly stop hunt, right? That's bearish, okay? There's no quite. Look what happened last time. We crashed from this sort of position. It can happen again. We need to be aware. We need to be careful. If this monthly candle finishes like this, we need to be extremely careful. I don't want to get left holding, you know, bags of shit altcoins if this is going to roll over another 30, 40, 50%, because, you know, the altcoins will get crushed. I don't want you guys to get left holding all these coins. So as long as price is below this level, we need to have a bearish outcome, a bearish thought process, until proven otherwise. Yes, this does look extremely powerful, but, you know, we need the market to prove to us that it's going to go higher. We need to see these signs. We need to see, you know, obviously price getting back above this green line. That's a different line from the one I showed you previously. You can see that there's actually two green lines in a way. These are the two most important lines in maybe in Bitcoin's history. Below these two lines, we are bearish. We need to now see if the bulls are actually going to stand up and fight for this and BART back up, right? If we can hold this level, put in a base here, and then start BARTing back to the upside and not take out this previous low, well, then Bitcoin is okay. I want to quickly show you a fractal. Okay, this fractal here on BTC on a monthly chart and a BTC on algo on a weekly chart. So you can see that, you know, we put in the long base. Maybe I'll move this down so they're more compared. Put in the long base, and when you finally break out, obviously you break out above the highs, but you can see the base here. You can see the base. When we start to break out, we parabolic move to the upside. We had the same in Bitcoin, parabolic move to the upside, and then we had the sharp drop on both of them. Okay, and then you create this U-shaped or V-shaped pattern back up to the upside. Now, very interesting. Then at the same, the algo did not take out the highs. Okay, Bitcoin did briefly take out the highs. Right here. So from this point, well, what happened? Well, it actually crashed back down. You can see then from there we actually crashed right back down into the lows. Well, if you see, we didn't come right down to the lows, but we came down close to the lows of the pattern, and that's very normal, right? That's a normal occurrence in when you're building out ranges, right? When you're in a range, price can come back to the lows of the range many times. So what actually happened was we rejected off that, and we got another bounce back up. So it screwed the bulls, then screwed the bears, and then screwed the bulls again. You know, so it was very choppy, and it was in a range, and there was a lot more to it than just a moonshot. Okay, so what if Bitcoin is going to do that? Now, what I'm saying is, if Bitcoin finishes here like this in a bearish month, in a red month like algo did, right, at the end of the month with 15 days left, long time away, it's a long time in the crypto market, a lot can happen then, but on a new month we need to be careful. What if we are going to flush lower back down to the lows, just like algo did. It's a very similar fractal. It's not identical, but what is extremely interesting to me is the formation of the white 100 moving average. You can see that the white 100 moving average on Bitcoin, is going to form in the not too distant future. It's probably going to start forming here, somewhere here. I'm not sure exactly there. I didn't get out the measurement, but I did measure it before, and it's going to start forming somewhere here. So what if we were actually going to drop back down into stop hunt these lows, right? Chop about, and what is this pattern? This is a blueprint. If I zoom out here, what is this pattern? It's a blueprint for success pattern that ultimately sends the price higher to new all-time highs. Now, if Bitcoin done this, that would be Bitcoin at $100,000. Now you can see from here, that is at this point, that's a 40% bounce. What if Bitcoin bounced 40% from the highs? Well, where would that take us? That would take a 43% bounce would take us to $100,000. So what if Bitcoin is going to drop down? The white 100 moving average is going to form like algo did, support price, and then we bounce back up. It would also stop hunt these lows, then go back into accumulation. Now I know nobody wants to hear this, but I'm not saying it's happening just yet. I thought it was an interesting fractal, right? I thought it was a very interesting fractal, and I also thought that it's not on the cards yet, but Bitcoin needs to prove themselves. The bulls need to prove themselves, guys. Bitcoin is bearish in the short term. Until it proves itself. If it starts to prove itself again, then, well, obviously, if I go to a 2-week chart, and if Bitcoin, as I mentioned, if Bitcoin does this, well, it's probably going to moonshot, right? It's probably going to do something like that. This J-hook pattern is going to take full effect, and it's probably going to moon. But it needs to prove itself. Bitcoin needs to get above the $67,000 level, and until then, we need to have a slightly bearish outlook. And this fractal kind of fitted the bill. It's not identical, but as you can see, after a long base and the parabolic move, and then the drop back down and the round back up to the highs, and then the rejection, it's kind of very similar. Well, I'm not on the right time frame here. On the monthly, it's very similar. Now, Bitcoin is also done, and I think it's important. And nobody's talking about this. Does nobody realize that it's not hugely important? Bitcoin is done a 20x, right? Look at this. It's done a 20x from the lows, from down here on the lows. Now, I might not have that candle done properly, but it's just done a 20x, right? Basically in 2 years. It's not really 2 years. It's actually 3 or 4 years, to be honest. But it's done most of that in the last 2 years. Again, I can refine that if needed to be, but I think it's 21x from the lows of the bear market, or whatever. Nobody seems to mention that's huge, and we're kind of sitting on that roundish number. I think it is 21x, to be honest, but that's monstrous, right? When I see that sort of move, part of me, and I don't like to say it on Bitcoin, but part of me likes to likes to start being prepared, for a red candle back down, and then it can go higher again. Then you can, then it can do something like this again. But of course, we all know that Bitcoin can keep going parabolic. I'm not saying that it can't. I just want to kind of point out my thoughts. What if we need to build out a larger range here before going higher? And that's exactly what algo did, right? If I moved up on time frames, on algo to maybe a monthly chart, I'm not sure, I've not looked at this, but you can kind of see what it did is it formed a top, it dropped back down to form a larger range, and then went higher eventually. And does that need to happen on Bitcoin? Is that going to screw a lot of people on Bitcoin? Because most people are not prepared for this. People want to see a moonshot and that's it. But it's also important to note that just from that fractal that I just showed, if Bitcoin starts dropping here, it's not all dead in the water. Bitcoin does not have to drop 83% like it used to in the past. That it could be a 40-50% drop down into these levels that we talked about, and then go higher again. because the structure has changed on the charts, right? The structures have changed. Now, I'm not saying I don't mean to be overly bearish on this. I just want to get it across that we need to take out this level, 67,000, and until that time, we need to have a slightly bearish outlook and protect yourself from holding altcoins and stuff. I still hold altcoins. I woke up this morning and some of my altcoins got crushed. But overall, it's nothing major or anything. But if Bitcoin is gonna, drop down to these sort of levels, like Algo did, and then do that, well, I don't want to be holding altcoins for this drop. And that's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to prepare people for any outcome. If this is going to go parabolic here, we need to look for the signs. We need to look for this, the basing right here, and then the BART back up. Take out these highs and away we go. If we start to break, and I'm cutting this video off now, it's gone on too long, but if we start to break this level, right, something has changed. Something is not going according to plan, and we need to be extremely careful.